Have you ever found yourself in the middle of an argument with your partner, saying things you didn't mean, only to regret it minutes later? Maybe it started with something small, like dishes in the sink or a missed text, and before you knew it, the tension was sky high, voices were raised, and the connection between you felt miles apart. The truth is, even the strongest relationships face conflict, but it's not the arguments themselves that damage love. It's how we handle them that makes all the difference. That's why today, we're diving into something that can completely shift the dynamic in those heated moments: words. Specifically, 5 phrases that you can use in the middle of a fight to calm things down, reset the tone, and actually move forward together. These aren't gimmicks or cheesy one-liners, they're powerful tools rooted in empathy, emotional intelligence, and real connection. Let's start with the first one. I care more about us than being right. This phrase can be a game changer. In the heat of an argument, we often get stuck trying to prove a point, win the debate, or defend ourselves. But the moment you say, I care more about us than being right, you're choosing the relationship over ego. It disarms defensiveness and reminds your partner that you're on the same team, not opposing sides. Another phrase that works wonders: help me understand what you're feeling. Arguments often escalate because we assume, judge, or misinterpret each other. But when you pause and ask this, you're inviting your partner to speak, not just react. It shows that you're listening, not just to the words, but to the emotions behind them. These small shifts in language can have a huge impact. Another phrase that can instantly shift the energy in a heated conversation is this: can we take a break and come back to this? Sometimes staying in the argument actually makes things worse. You're both flooded with emotion, maybe saying things just to be heard or to get the last word. In those moments, the best thing you can do is press pause, not walk away and shut down, but take a mindful break with the intention of returning when you're both calmer. This phrase communicates that you still care and want resolution, just not in the middle of emotional chaos. It helps avoid the spiral where small issues turn into deep wounds. Here's another powerful one. I can see why you feel that way. Even if you don't fully agree, this phrase shows empathy. And empathy doesn't mean agreeing. It means acknowledging someone's emotional experience as valid. When we feel seen and understood, our guard naturally comes down. And more often than not, that's all we really want in an argument, to know that our feelings matter. This phrase can melt defensiveness and open up space for a more honest, less reactive conversation. Arguments tend to trigger our instinct to protect ourselves. We jump to conclusions, raise our voices, and try to win. But using these simple, intentional phrases helps shift the dynamic from me versus you to us figuring this out together. When you introduce calm, curiosity, and compassion into the conversation, everything changes. And you don't have to be perfect at it, you just have to try. Let's take a look at the final phrase, one that might be the most important of all. The last phrase is one that carries the most weight, especially when tensions are high and things feel fragile. I love you, and I don't want this to come between us. It might feel awkward or even unnatural to say that in the middle of a disagreement, but that's exactly when it's needed most. This phrase is a reminder to both of you of what's truly important. It cuts through the noise, the defensiveness, the stress, and brings the focus back to love, connection, and commitment. You're not sweeping the conflict under the rug. You're anchoring it in something deeper than the disagreement itself. You're saying, yes, we're fighting, but I'm still here. I still choose you. When you speak from that place, something shifts. The tension softens. The urgency to win fades. And suddenly, you're not enemies. You're two people who care deeply about each other, trying to work through something hard. So, let's quickly revisit what we've covered. 5 phrases that can de-escalate conflict and bring you back to connection. I care more about us than being right. Help me understand what you're feeling. Can we take a break and come back to this? I can see why you feel that way. And I love you, and I don't want this to come between us. They're simple, but they work, because they're rooted in vulnerability, honesty, and emotional safety. If you've ever tried one of these, or if you're planning to, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences and what's worked for you. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need it today. You deserve a relationship where conflict doesn't drive you apart, but brings you closer. Here's to more understanding, less arguing, and a whole lot more love.